Welcome to Uncle's Channel. Thanks for watching today, and I feel it's safe to say now TMNT is officially back. Yes, I know it's already coming back with all these video games, video game announcements, and TV or comic book crossovers here. However, with the new Mutant Mayhem movie, I feel like it has cemented its place for an entire new generation while also keeping old fans happy at the same time. It was funny, it was action-packed, it was emotional, and honestly it's a really solid film from start to finish. But let's break it all down here in a spoiler-free look at the movie in another episode of Matt's Movie Reviews. Shh. So let's start off here by just simply talking about the characters in the movie, because the characters in this film are so well written. Each turtle has their own full personality, but yet they also have that perfect chemistry between each other as well. Leonardo is trying so hard to be the leader, but the other turtles, they just keep joshing him around, and honestly, it's a really relatable position to be in. When it comes to Raphael, his anger issues are definitely present on the screen, but it almost comes off as more as a reckless turtle, and it's a little bit different twist on him, but it does fit really well inside the film. Donatello, he's full of quips and just has a really sarcastic sense of humor, which we know all goes well with the genius personality. I mean, if you watch any shows like Frasier or anything like that, you know that intelligence also goes with a sarcastic sense of humor. And then there's Michelangelo, and he does have that silly sense of humor that is characteristic of him. However, if there's one turtle I feel like gets the short end of the stick here, I would say that it's definitely him. And that's not to say he didn't have his moments in the movie, but it just didn't feel as fleshed out as some of the other turtles. However, like I mentioned earlier, the chemistry that the turtles have of each other and the snappy comebacks and the teasing was the perfect tone for the film, because it actually made it feel more like a team, more like a group, and also teenagers all at the same time, and like how they kid around with their friends. I mean, take the scene here in the trailer where Michelangelo is signed up for an improv night, and for his first name he puts Michael, and the last name he puts Angelo, and then the turtles realize that Leonardo's name would be Leo, and then Nardo, and they start calling him Nardo, and it's just such a perfect sense of humor that's kept up throughout the entire film, and I just love it.
That makes you Leonardo.
No,
Nardo!
But beyond the turtles, the other main characters in the film are also very well fleshed out, have their own personality, their own sense of humor, and it's just really well written. Like Splinter. Splinter's not only their leader here, but he's also more of a true dad for the turtles, and that was a great move for the film. In the early scenes of the movie where they show him like literally raising the turtles, where he found them and sort of, you know, bringing them up and they're crawling all over him, just like true toddlers would do, it just shows that they are really his kids, and it's just hilarious and touching to see the bond between them. On the opposite side of Splinter, though, we have Superfly, who is similar in some aspects to Splinter as far as like his disdain for humanity, but it takes the entire opposite approach. It's sort of like Splinter would be like Professor X, and Superfly would be like Magneto, if you're like comparing them to any other superhero stories as far as like their motivations go. But Superfly wasn't just a joyless villain. He has a ton of lines in the films that would crack up pretty much people of all ages, even down like when he is a baby Superfly. I mean, he's just an adorable little guy. I'll try to put a little picture of it here in the video if I can find one. I'm not sure if it's out there or not. But just be on the lookout in the film and just take in how adorable baby Superfly really is. But honestly, every baby portrayal in this film is just wonderful. Now, the other mutants in the film, while they're enjoyable and have a few good lines here and there, yes, they do have a role, but they could easily just be interchanged with other mutants, and it really wouldn't make a whole lot of difference. Mondo Gecko probably had the most emphasis of all of them, and I'd probably say like Wingnut or Genghis Frog had probably the least influence. But most of Superfly's team or his crew here, they don't really have a large individual impact as far as who they are as a mutant. This tale is truly a tale of the four turtles, Splinter, Superfly, and of course, April. And let's go ahead and talk about her for a bit as well. April is also a teenager in this iteration, and it fits perfectly to allow the sense of humor and connection with the turtles to take place. She has the same acceptance issue with peers that the turtles have, and it just allows for a really great bonding moment between them pretty much throughout the entire film. And truth be told, that is something that nearly every character in this film has issues with, and the movie overall is really just a tale of how rejection from society affects different people in different ways and what they end up doing about it. Honestly, it's a great way to unite everyone's story arc together and just create a more emotional pull in the film. But let's move on past the characters and the story arc, and let's talk about the animation itself and the music inside the movie as well. The animation for Mutant Mayhem was an amazing way to portray the Turtles and New York City as a whole, and it's often compared to like Into the Spider-Verse, and there is a good reason behind that, but this film itself has definitely got its own art style as far as being more of a almost like sketchy in a way. I know that the creators of the movie, or at least like the director, has mentioned they purposely went with this art style because it mimics the idea of like a student sketching in the side of their notebook, and sort of trying to mimic that, and they actually try to distort some of the perspectives a little bit, and honestly, it just comes off really well done, and I feel like it creates a style that's pretty much unlike any other movie that I've seen, and it just adds more personality to the film, and allows their ambition to land just a little bit better. Now, in addition to the animation being some of the most awesome animation I've ever seen, the soundtrack also adds so much to the movie as well. It's not just the retro hip-hop tracks. I mean, they are great in and of themselves, but the score for the movie is fantastic. Imagine like the synthesizers of the Stranger Things soundtrack and keep that vibe going during like dramatic scenes of the Turtles movie, and it just mixes so well here with the art style and the emotional pull. I mean, it's literally just perfection how all of the soundtrack or the score comes together here. Honestly, this is a soundtrack that I would purchase on my own and just simply keep as like background music while I work or music that I can drive to. I mean, this is outside of just a Turtles movie, this is a great score. Overall to me, this is like the perfect TMNT film. It brought back my nostalgia, had me laughing throughout, kept me interested in the storyline, and just had an art style that was beautiful to behold pretty much throughout the entire thing. And I know it may not be some people's, favorite art style, but trust me, it really does fit the overall tone of the film. And I know there are some TMNT fans out there who would like to see a darker version of Ninja Turtles, some maybe along the lines like The Last Ronin, but there is a video game coming out for that. However, I feel like this film here, it appeals really to all ages, old fans and new fans alike, and it really brings back to what I grew up with as the Ninja Turtles, what I knew as the Ninja Turtles, and just, I don't know, it's just a film that when you watch it, you just feel good when you watch it and you're going to be laughing, and I promise you, you're almost certainly going to have a good time. I would actually go out as far to say, even if you know nothing about TMNT, I feel like this movie is going to give you all the background you need, and I think you would enjoy the film, even if you knew nothing about the entire franchise or the series up to this point. But overall, if you haven't seen the film, I would definitely recommend it. I'd give this film 5 out of 5 stars. To me, it is a perfect Ninja Turtles film. I'm not going to say it's the best Ninja Turtles film, because obviously nostalgia pulls back on some of those very early ones from childhood. But this, to me, for 2023, is the most perfect Ninja Turtle film that we could possibly hope for. But overall, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos listed up above. And as always, go out there, find a great game to play or movie to watch, and have a great rest of the day.